Part 60. Being a Bug in a Survival Game. Author, Kuan-K. Chapter 596. The main mission is completed, the copy has been cleared, and the rewards are being settled. Get experience points 300, game coins 500, lucky draw opportunities *2. Props obtained, mysterious reagent of destiny *5. Autonomy for clearance, 85%, experience gained 170, game currency 85, lucky draw opportunity *1. Contribution for clearance, 85%, experience gained 170, game currency 85, lucky draw opportunity *1. Dungeon exploration degree, 75%, experience gained 375, game currency 150, lucky draw opportunity *1. Unlock personal tasks, 1, complete personal tasks, 1, get game currency 1000, clean soap, lucky draw chance 10. Unlock hidden tasks, 1, complete exclusive hidden tasks, 1, obtain game currency *2000, experience value *3000, super recovery potion. Congratulations on winning the junior title, Magia. Function, increase the destructive power of buildings by 30%. Note, take a look, there is a humanoid here, watch from the front row. Settlement completed. Sutinyu returned to the purple alien space. Looking at the last title he got, a speechless thought suddenly arose. Shivering. What a hot chicken title. How could such a cute little fairy be given the title of Urha? The little fairy expressed her strong ugly rejection. Can this title be removed? Sutinyu poked at the panel depressedly, and then discovered that the title could indeed be removed. Each player can only have a maximum of 6 titles. Sutinyu already has 6 titles. As long as there is one more title, one title will be forgotten out of the 7 titles. Then we have to wait for the next round of dungeons and try to get a high-end and atmospheric title to replace this one. Here comes the motivation. Hey, there is a prop reward this time, Sutinyu was overjoyed. In fact, every time you clear a copy, you can be randomly rewarded with props. It's just, Sutinyu didn't even see the shadow of a prop, and almost forgot about it. Let me see what big treasure it is. Clicking on the prop information, the next second, the excited Sutinyu's eyes froze. After a few seconds, Sutinyu silently spat out. Holy shit! What the hell? Props, washing soap. Grade, ordinary. Function, come on pretend let's wash it all off. Durability, 100%. Note, it's a very simple soap, don't think blindly, it's produced in prison, it's worth having. Shivering. No normal person would want soap produced in prison. The angry Sutinyu changed hands and threw the newly obtained soap into the prop recycling furnace. 2 seconds later, the prop recycling furnace spit out game coins *2. The prop recycling furnace specializes in recycling useless props, and will give players a certain amount of subsidies based on their value. There is also a game currency subsidy, no loss. Absolutely no loss, this wave is to force no loss. Sutinyu pretended to be strong and opened the props given in the hidden mission. Props, super powerful recovery potion. Grade, blue mystery. Function, the body is intact if you take this medicine within 24 hours of cardiac arrest. There is a 90% probability of cardiac resuscitation and resurrection, but there are unknown side effects. Usage, disposable. Note, don't use the one with separate heads, it's a waste, and you won't be able to drink anything after using it. This is okay. Items that can bring the dead back to life, however, have limitations in terms of use. In addition, there are unknown side effects. Otherwise, it may not be just a blue mysterious grade. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuan-K. Chapter 597. At the end of this round of dungeons, the experience points gained by Sutinyu were only a small part of the level 7 upgrade, which was still far from being upgraded. However, the higher the level, the more outrageous the experience points required. However, during the normal settlement of each round of dungeons, the experience points awarded are generally very small. Which is more important, game currency or experience points? Sutinyu couldn't help but have such a doubt in his heart. The benefits and value of game currency can be seen by anyone with a discerning eye. Without game currency, if the copy fails, you will be sent to the punishment copy, or you will die directly in reality. Game currency can also purchase various game items and increase the number of copies. Survival rate. But experience points, so far, except for a small number of game items in the mall that need to reach the corresponding level before they can be purchased, have not seen much value. So what does player level really mean? By the way, there are 5 mysterious reagents of destiny obtained in the copy. Gang Kikai, Fatty, Guju, Sister Shanyu, plus me, there are exactly 5 people, enough points. Everyone also cleared the island prison dungeon together, so it was reasonable to divide the loot obtained equally. Sutinyu sent the other 4 mysterious reagents of destiny to the other 4 people and told them the reason. After a while, Sutinyu received messages from the 4 people. Chinchi, yeah. Fatty, thank you, boss. Guju, received. Shanyu, thank you Susu. The side effects of this thing seem to be more terrible than the advanced resuscitation agent. It's not a side effect. After all, the effect of the drug is unknown and more unpredictable. Sutinyu thought about it secretly and decided to put this thing at the bottom of the box first. This thing cannot be used indiscriminately. Although Sutinyu believed as always that he had a koi destiny, he couldn't just act casually. After nothing happened, Sutinyu exited the settlement space. Sutinyu appeared in her room and checked the door lock. It was still locked from behind. Then, Sutinyu went to find clothes and take a bath. Although the body I used in prison was not my real body, from a sensory perspective, I still felt as if I hadn't showered in several days. Half an hour later. After taking a shower, Sutinyu came out with wet hair, then looked for a hairdryer to dry her hair. After blowing dry, Sutinyu shook his hair wildly and walked towards the door of the room. After coming out, Sutinyu subconsciously walked towards Chinchi's room. It's still around 10 o'clock in the morning, and some servants can still be seen cleaning the villa. Kikai Sutinyu saw that Chinchi's door was open, so he stretched his head and jumped in. In the room, Chinchi and Fatty were both there. Boss, you're here. The fat man paused slightly. Sutinyu glanced at the strange fat man. What's wrong? Ahem, it's okay. I just wanted to help Chinchi change into new clothes, and you came. The fat man explained hesitantly. Hearing this, Sutinyu blinked his big eyes. Then did I come at the wrong time? It should have been later, but it was a little later. Forget it, I'll go find Zaizu. Fatty looked at Sutinyu. Chinchi also looked at Sutinyu. Ever since, Sutinyu fled the scene quickly. Halfway through the race, Sutinyu's brain stopped for a second. Isn't that right? Why should I run? I obviously haven't done anything. Sutinyu gradually became more confident. This wave, is it a loss? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 598. Sister Su. Turning the corner, Sutinyu met Wei Chu. You're here just in time, Zaizu, go to your brother Chin's place to help. Wei Chu nodded. Oh, okay, Sister Su. Watching the person walk into the room, Sutinyu turned her head and subconsciously rubbed her belly. Well, Dudu said she was hungry. So Sutingyu trotted downstairs and went to the kitchen to find something to eat. Yes, yes. Do this. I want 3 copies, and the other 2 will be delivered in half an hour. After giving instructions to the chef, Sutingyu sat back and waited for his delicious food. However, just waiting was a bit boring. Sutingyu thought for a moment and opened the forum on the panel. She did not participate in the event dungeon this time, but every event dungeon was always overcrowded. Wow, the copy of this event is so speechless. I, a newly grown college student, am forced to be the father of 5 children. The labor and management have 7 children, and the Gort children are all gathered together. What did the labor and management say? I was just a child, I almost starved to death. That NPC father was so irresponsible. In this event copy, neither the father nor the child is normal. Enter the event copy again. I am a dog. Upstairs, I recognize your nickname. It seems you said the same thing last time and the last time. Sutingyu browsed the latest posts about the Father's Day dungeon and muttered to herself, in the Father's Day dungeon, the player's identity is either a father or a child. At this time, Sutingyu discovered that there was a game announcement in the converted poster. Attention all beta testers. The island prison dungeon was irreversibly destroyed by unknown factors. The dungeon will be temporarily closed for rectification and will not be open to players for the time being. As Sutingyu looked surprised and blurted out subconsciously, why is it only closed temporarily? It shouldn't be permanent. Cough, no, no. Sutingyu shook his head. How can you think like this? I am a kind little fairy. Anyway, when I came out of the dungeon, I didn't hear any notification that the dungeon had crashed. That probably, should, maybe, has nothing to do with her, right? There can't be some reason why the copy is delayed, right? Thinking of this, Sutingyu felt more and more at ease. After eating his share of food, Sutingyu held a glass of juice and walked upstairs to find Chin-Chi and Fatty while drinking. Before entering, Sutingyu specially knocked on the door. Hearing the noise, the fat man in the room came to open the door. Boss, why don't you just come in? The fat man thought someone was knocking on the door, but he didn't expect it to be Sutingyu. Ahem, it's okay, Sutingyu Mian walked in very calmly. Seeing Chin-Chi had a half-eaten piece of food in front of him, he casually found a seat to sit down. Huh? Where's the little pig? Sutingyu didn't see Wei Chu, but wasn't the latter called in by her? The fat man explained, oh, Zaizu went down to get the express. I heard it was sent by someone in his village. By the way, boss, when is the next time we will enter the dungeon? Fatty closed the door and came back to continue feeding Chin-Chi. Well, either the 24th or the 27th is fine. Sutingyu took out her phone, clicked on the calendar software, and counted the days. I'll go find Guju later and ask for his opinion. Okay, once you've decided, just tell me and then we'll carpool together. What props did you get from the side personal missions and hidden missions in the island prison dungeon? Sutingyu was still curious about this. After all, the super resuscitation potion she got herself felt a bit unbelievable. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 599. Fatty was the first to speak. The prop reward for my side personal mission is a defensive prop that can resist mental attacks 3 times, but it depends on the strength of the attack. The fat man's expression was more cheerful. It was obvious that he liked this game prop. When Sutingyu heard this, he couldn't help but recall his game currency *2. This gap is outrageous. It's so irritating. This hot chick system must be jealous of this fairy's beauty. For another hidden mission, my prop reward is this. Fatty directly sent the prop information to Sutingyu and Chin-Chi. Props, Super Perspective Potion. Grade, Rare. Function, it allows the user to have the function of seeing through both eyes within half an hour after the effect of the medicine ends. Temporary blindness will occur. The specific blindness time is unknown, maybe 1 minute, Maybe 10 days and a half. Durability, disposable. Note, if you are blind, don't use it. This is not a cure for eye diseases. It is a waste if you use it. Thank you. It's only a rare grade, and the effect can only last for half an hour. This. Sutinyu was also surprised when he saw that it had a see-through function. In an instant, Sutinyu suddenly thought of the women's locker room. If she had a perspective, ahem. The fat man expressed his feelings. It seems to be very useful, but it feels a bit useless. Keep it for now. It doesn't take up space in the inventory anyway. It's good for people and things. What if it works in the future? Sutinyu comforted. Later, Sutinyu also told about the super resuscitation potion he had obtained. As for that game currency *2. Sutinyu said without changing his face, I don't have a reward, maybe I will get it by chance. Hearing this, Qin-Chi glanced at Sutinyu and said nothing. Is it a probability? Did I remember it wrong? The fat man had no doubts. Boss, you are very lucky. The super resuscitation potion is awesome at first glance. That's right. I've always been very lucky. Sutinyu raised her proud little chin, feeling proud. Kikai, is it yours? It's nothing special, just an ordinary prop, Qin-Chi said calmly. Hearing this, Sutinyu blinked his big eyes. Is it possible that the rewards for side personal missions are of a more stretched nature? Isn't it just her who pulled her off? Hey. Sutinyu comforted Qin-Chi, it's okay, let's try to get a good prop next time. If it doesn't work, just go to the dungeon and cut leaks. Yeah, Qin-Chi nodded. The prop rewards for hidden missions are related to plants. Props, super vegetation potion. Grade, blue mystery. Function, on the barren and deserted land, the natural vitality of vegetation once again blooms, which can effectively improve the quality of the soil. As for the quality, you guess. Durability, disposable. Note, don't drip on your bare Mediterranean, I'm sure you don't want to know the consequences. Does this act on plants? Sutinyu looked confused. Why is there such a medicine? Boss, I think this medicine can have a relatively significant effect on desert greening, Fatty said. Desert greening? That's right. The fat man sighed slightly. It's a pity that the props can't bring reality. Otherwise, this kind of medicine can save a lot of manpower and material resources in solving the problem of desertification in western Xinjiang province or northern Mongolia province. Sutinyu glanced at Fatty in surprise. Oh, I didn't expect that, Fatty. You are so worried about the country and the people. Ahem, I was just talking casually. The fat man scratched his head, feeling a little embarrassed. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuan-Kei. Chapter 600. I'll go to Guju first and ask about the time to enter the dungeon. Okay, boss. Sutinyu had just opened the door and was about to go out, when something suddenly occurred to him. He turned to Fatty and said, by the way, Fatty, help me think about it. If I can bring items from the real world to the dungeon, what are the best things to bring? You can make a list for me later. Sutinyu actually thought of his storage ring. Since it can cause system bugs and store irrelevant items, he must make good use of it. Ah! Boss, why are you talking about this suddenly? The fat man was a little confused. It has been confirmed by many players that real-life items cannot be brought into the inventory, right? Some players also came up with the idea of redeeming a box in the system mall, and then trying to put real items in the box. But the problem is that game items cannot bring reality at all, let alone contain things. As for real items, except for the clothes on the body and the objects contained in the clothes, other items that are outside the body cannot even enter the settlement space. Even items in your pockets will be excluded if they conflict with the worldview of the dungeon. However, items in the pockets of clothes can be brought into the copy. A player designed a jacket with extra long and large pockets, but it was judged by the panel system as strange attire and even the jacket was excluded. Sutingyu blinked his big eyes and said in a mysterious tone, "Secret. Think about it first, I have my uses anyway." "Okay then, I'll give you the list this afternoon." Out of trust in Sutingyu, the fat man said nothing and agreed. After mentioning the stocking up, Sutingyu went out to find Gucci. After staying for so long, Sutingyu arrived outside Gucci's study with ease. However, it seems that the room where Guju rested has never been seen. Sutingyu stopped outside the corridor as he looked at the study room with the door closed in front of him. In this case, most of the time it's because you have something to deal with. In the study. In the darkness, there was only a lamp burning in front of the desk. The above are the main plots encountered in this event dungeon. Chibubi ended his report on the event dungeon. Yes, Gucci nodded slightly. The event dungeon poster on the panel has been changed this time. Which is the latest festival? Chibubi, it's Teacher's Day in September, but the newly updated event posters generally present a summer seaside style, which is somewhat inconsistent with Teacher's Day. Moreover, the date shown on the countdown is July 8th, and there is no holiday on that day. Gucci frowned slightly. There is no festival, but this is the first time I have seen it. No matter what, let's start with the preparations for the style of the poster. Okay, master. Through his sunglasses, Gucci stared at the light bulb of the desk lamp for 2 seconds, then looked away. There's one more thing. Move the manpower searching for Chuzinyu to the border and the outskirts of the capital. Hearing this, Chibubi was a little surprised. Master, is she coming back? It's impossible, obviously. I saw her in the dungeon. Gucci lowered his eyes and spoke indifferently. Chibubi looked stunned. Just when he was about to say something, Gucci's voice came faintly again. Chibubi, I finally killed her. But it's not enough. It's only in the copy. She knew I was the one who killed her, and she would definitely come back. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 601. This is the Gu family. One year, an 11-year-old boy was brought back to the Gu family by Guyan, which caused many people to speculate on the boy's identity. No one knew that when the boy tried to call father, he was directly thrown into the small dark room by Guyan to reflect. As for what to reflect on, the young and ignorant boy didn't understand. He only knew that he had done something wrong to make the head of the family angry. Later, he never said those 2 words again. It was like a taboo, not allowed to be touched or desired. Since the death of the old man of the Gu family, all the branches of the Gu family have moved out, leaving only the Guyan family. The old house of the Gu family has become deserted. Guyan, on the other hand, had a wife but no children. Guyan is away from home all year round, and no one knows what he is doing. After the boy was brought back by Guyan, he rarely had the chance to see the latter. In the old house, except for the stern-faced security guard and the expressionless servants, they were all busy with their own work. No one would care about an 11-year-old child. In the old house, except that he could not go out, the boy had almost no one to take care of him. At mealtime, the servant would bring freshly prepared food to the table, and an hour later, a servant would come to clear away the tableware. At first, the boy did not dare to move around at will and just stayed in the room because he was afraid that if he did something wrong, he would be kicked out by the man. 2 months passed by, and the boy gradually adapted to the life in the old house. The child's curiosity also made him gradually become bold. From the beginning, he only moved between the room and the dining table downstairs. Now, he has visited most of the rooms in the old house, except for some that are locked, and he cannot enter. Then, the boy walked out of the door of the old house. Outside the old house, a radius of more than 10 miles has been enclosed and has become the territory of the Gu family. On the outside is the courtyard gate and wall of the old house. There were many security guards in the front yard, so the boy didn't dare to go, so he naturally ran to the backyard. There are many kinds of trees, flowers, and plants planted in the backyard, like a secret garden. The boy walked around in the garden for a while. Just when he thought there was no one here, a figure stood in front of a flower bed at the corner. It's a woman. The boy didn't want to be discovered. When he was about to turn around and run away secretly, he tripped and fell down without paying attention. Hiss. When he fell, he subconsciously held his hands on the ground. Now his palms were burning. When the boy looked down, he saw that his skin had been scratched. Hearing the noise, the woman looked over and spotted the boy. The woman was holding a little girl-like rag doll in her hand, with peaceful eyes. When she saw the scratches on the boy's hand, she frowned slightly. "Ah, is it hurt? Does your hand hurt?" As she said, the woman he knelt down to examine the boy's hands. The woman had a scent of grass and flowers, and as soon as she came closer, the boy felt that his whole body was surrounded by this gentle scent. No. It's okay, the boy subconsciously moved back. Since arriving at the old house, the boy has discovered that no one here likes him, and some servants look at him with hidden contempt. The boy didn't understand what he had done wrong, and no one told him what the mistake was and how to correct it. "Don't be afraid, let me take a look." Seeing some fine sand seeping into the broken skin of the boy's palm, the woman lowered her head slightly, breathed gently into the boy's palm, and blew away the fine sand. "Here, let me take you to take care of the wound, okay?" The boy stared blankly at the gentle woman in front of him, with a faint blush on his porcelain white face. His voice was low, with a hint of softness. "Yeah, thank you." The boy was helped up by the woman caringly, and then she took him to the nearest small villa. This is not the main house, but the woman seems to be very familiar with the villa and found the medicine kit with ease. "It won't hurt soon, don't be afraid." While cleaning the wound, the woman's gentle voice kept comforting the boy. The boy blinked his round and beautiful cat eyes, his face flushed. "Thank you, Auntie. Are you so polite?" The woman's voice was light and teasing, which easily made the shy boy even more embarrassed. Over the next few weeks, whenever the boy had free time, he went looking for women. The boy didn't know why. He wanted to get close to his aunt. Maybe it was because his aunt was the first person to show kindness to him. He stayed quietly by the woman's side, accompanying her to water the flowers, weed the grass, and coax the doll to sleep. Until one day, the current head of the Gu family, Gu Yan, publicly announced the boy's identity and admitted that he was his biological blood. For a time, the capital and the Gu family were no longer peaceful. Same day. The boy wanted to find his aunt as always, but as soon as he entered the door of the villa, he saw the head of the Gu family, whom he hadn't seen for many days, and his aunt in the living room. The appearance of the boy also attracted the attention of the two people. At this time, the woman's expression when she looked at the boy was no longer as tender as before, but became very cold. She pointed at the boy and questioned Gu Yan. "Who is he? Gu Yan, tell me, who did you bring back? Tell him to get out. Let him get out. What he eats, clothes, and uses, these all belong to our children, they should belong to our children." As she spoke, the woman suddenly burst into tears, collapsed to the ground holding the doll that had never left her body. Gu Yan half knelt in front of the woman in silence, holding the latter in his arms. There is no defense and no defense. Wrong is wrong. There will be, our children, there will be. Gu Yan kept comforting the woman. "Ian, the Gu family needs an heir now. So you just created one? Gu Yan, if I delayed you, you can divorce. Ian, please calm down for a while, okay?" Finally, the boy ran back to his room in a daze. The boy huddled in the corner of the room, with images of women being hysterical flashing through his mind. When those eyes that were originally gentle and smiling looked at him again, it was as if they were seeing some kind of disgusting garbage. That look in his eyes, the boy felt a heavy feeling in his chest, but he couldn't explain what it was like. I don't know how long it took, but the door was suddenly pushed open. Immediately afterwards, a questioning voice came. "Who asked you to go out? The head of the family is here." The boy raised his head with difficulty, opened his mouth slightly, and wanted to say something. But when he met Guyan's eyes filled with disgust and hatred, he realized that he didn't seem to know what to say. "Tomorrow, I will send someone to take you out of the old house." Guyan didn't seem to really want to hear the boy's explanation. He just said a word and quickly left the room without looking back. No punishment, no name calling. However, the boy didn't know why, but he suddenly felt uncomfortable and a little aggrieved. Did he do something wrong again? Can anyone tell him what he did wrong? Unconsciously, the boy's eyes were covered with mist, and soon, a drop of water fell on the floor in front of him. Huh, the boy raised his hand hesitantly, wiped his eyes, and suddenly felt wet in his palms. That day, an ordinary day for many people, there was a boy huddled in the corner of the room, crying silently. That was also the last time the boy shed tears of disappointment. When no one cares and feels sorry for you, tears are useless. The next day, Guyan kept his promise, and early in the morning, someone came and took the boy away. The boy was thrown on an uninhabited island, and what greeted him were various devil trainings. The instructor in charge of the training strictly followed the training schedule. If the boy did not complete it that day, he would be locked up in a small dark room at night. Later, the boy was taken to many places, including tropical rainforests, snowy peaks and deserts, and exotic places, but without exception, it was all for training. At the age of 14. One day, on Gu's private plane, while half asleep and half awake, the boy heard the instructors talking. "An illegitimate child, I really don't know why Master Yan spends so much effort to cultivate. Master Yan's wife was unable to conceive, so Master Yan was forced to retrieve the illegitimate child. Speaking of which, Master Yan has always doted on his wife. Why would an illegitimate child appear again? Who knows? Illegitimate child?" The boy's last trace of sleepiness was gone, but he still closed his eyes and pretended not to wake up. The boy, who was no longer ignorant, knew the meaning of these 3 words. It turns out that it wasn't that he did anything wrong, but that his existence itself was a mistake. On the plane flying home, the boy's mind was in chaos. He unconsciously remembered the man's cold and disgusted face the day before he left the old house, and the last time he saw his aunt. The gentleness in his aunt's eyes was no longer replaced by hatred and disgust. After getting off the plane, the boy ran away secretly. To be more precise, he didn't want to go back. After wandering outside for several months, when he was captured, as expected, he was locked up in a small dark room again. After 3 days of hunger, the door to the small dark room opened. And the person who came in was not a certain instructor, but that man. Guyan asked condescendingly, "Want to leave the Gu family?" The boy was silent and did not respond. "It seems that you still don't understand your position." Guyan snorted lightly, slowly bent down, and suddenly grabbed the boy's throat with his right hand. "Are you curious as to why I keep you here instead of finding you? When I was young, I strangled you to death. That's because, you're a good mother, understand? I am keeping you to find your mother. I will make her pay the price. Whether it was the calculation that night or the subsequent failure of my wife to get pregnant, everything will be settled one by one." At this moment, the boy clearly realized that he was nothing in the eyes of men. If given a choice, men would not want to exist in this world at all. And he was just treated as a pawn. A chess piece that can help him solve the problem of forced marriage and childbirth, and a chess piece that can take revenge on his biological mother. When one day, the chess piece completes its task, it loses its value. Perhaps, it shouldn't continue to exist. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 602. Sister U, Director G has a movie to start shooting recently. He contacted me and wanted to ask you to play an important role. A curly-haired woman walked into the dressing room with her mobile phone and excitedly told Shan the news. Feather. Shan Yu stood in front of the full-length mirror, turned around in a circle, and said calmly, pushed. Upon hearing this, the curly-haired woman hesitated. Sister Yu, that's Director G's movie, and Director G's words imply that he may be asking you to play the heroine this time. If the movie can be a hit, Hong, then Sister Yu, your label as the second female lead will hopefully be erased. Shan Yu seemed to think about it for a moment, and then replied, Wanyan female second, pretty good. I'm sorry to Director G. I haven't been in a good state recently and I don't have time to participate in the show. Seeing that Shan Yu had already decided, the curly-haired woman could only obey. Okay, Sister Yu. Sister, you won't have much work in the second half of the year. Are you sure you don't want to take any more work? Shan Yu said decisively, I won't answer. Anyway, the money she made in the past few years was enough for her to spend until she was 30. As for the future, Shan Yu didn't think about the future. Because she didn't need to think about it, she didn't look back. Okay, hold the phone for me and give it to me after I finish filming this scene. Shan Yu pointed to the phone on the table. Okay, Sister Yu. The curly-haired woman also often does things like keeping Shan Yu's personal belongings, and this is also her own responsibility. When the curly-haired woman picked up Shan Yu's cell phone, the screen suddenly lit up, showing a call. Sister Yu, someone's calling. Seeing that there was no note and the curly-haired woman couldn't answer the call directly, she handed it to Shan Yu first. Shan Yu took the phone and looked at the phone number. You go out and wait for me first, and I'll take a call. Oh, okay, Sister Yu. The curly-haired woman wondered who called her. She didn't look like someone from the circle. However, adhering to the principle of asking less, the curly-haired woman went straight out of the dressing room and closed the door. After the others left, Shan Yu answered the call. Hey, it's me. Single star, I agree to the deal you mentioned before. We can trade it at a time and place. A male voice came from the other end of the call. Okay, then tonight at 8 o'clock, the location is. Shan Yu informed the other party of the location of a restaurant he secretly ran. Okay, see you there at 8 o'clock tonight. 8 p.m. After filming for a day, Shan Yu gave both the curly-haired woman and the driver a short break, and then drove to the agreed-upon location for the appointment. In a private room, Shan Yu pushed the door open and came in. There was already someone inside. Seeing Shan Yu coming, the man stood up to greet him. Hello, Shan Xing. No need to be polite, there are 2 million in the card. Shan Yu held a bank card between his fingertips and showed it to the ordinary dressed man in front of him for confirmation. Okay. When the man saw the bank card, the smile on his face became more genuine. In front of the man, a player panel appeared. Then, according to the agreement of the transaction, I will trade the token to you right now. With that said, the man began to operate the panel. Within a few seconds, Shan Yu opened his panel and received a message. When I clicked it open, there was a token prop inside. After confirming that it was a genuine token, Shan Yu handed the bank card to the man. Thank you. When the man got this bank card, it was like holding a life-saving straw. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 603. Okay, you can go. After the deal was concluded, Shan Yu had no intention of keeping the man for a long time. Nowadays, in the parallel paradise, although there are not many players who have tokens, it is not unusual. This man happened to be taken aback by Shan Yu, so he made a deal, each getting what he wanted. Shan Yu also found someone to check the man's actual identity information in advance. Men come to big cities to work and send money back to their hometown every month to support their old mother, wife, and children. Not long ago, the man's mother became ill and needed a large sum of money for medical treatment. It was precisely because of this situation that the man had to trade the tokens in exchange for paying for his mother's medical treatment. Okay, the man got the money and wanted to remit it as soon as possible. After the man left, Shan Yu checked the token information again. Props, Nightmare God Invitation. Grade, None. Function, players carrying this prop will be invited to the Nightmare Maze as a guest. Usage, disposable. Remarks, if there is no nightmare in the heart, the nightmare will come naturally. If there is a nightmare in the heart, it will turn into a nightmare. The fragility of the human heart will often break without attack. Nightmare? What kind of dungeon is this? Shan Yu recalled the known dungeon information and found that none of it was very consistent. At most, it only had a terrifying attribute. Shan Yu traded tokens because she was somewhat interested in copies of the tokens. After all, life is so boring, you have to find some fun. After the transaction, Shan Yu simply had dinner at the hotel before returning to his residence. Goose Manor. Boss, your express delivery is here. Good, good. Go down and get the express. Sutingyu asked Fatty to make a list, then purchased all the items according to the list, ordered intracity express delivery, and the goods arrived in half a day. Miss Su, this is your express delivery. As soon as Sutingyu ran out of the villa door, the gatekeepers in the manor used several carts to move the express delivery. Thank you. You're welcome. Sutingyu rubbed his hands and then started to unpack the express delivery. Because there were too many express deliveries, Sutingyu called Fatty and Wei Chu down, and also called a few servants. After all the express delivery was unpacked, Sutingyu ordered the servants. Bring these to my room. Okay, Monsieur, the servant replied. Boss, the courier is here. Can you tell me the reason now? The fat man approached Sutingyu and asked quietly. It's not a big deal. I just got a game item. I can collect non-game items and put them into the inventory together, Sutingyu said calmly. Wow! Fatty exclaimed, and in the middle of the scream, he quickly covered his mouth. Really? That is. In fact, Sutingyu has never done any real experiments. However, items in the dungeon that cannot be taken out are available. In other words, items in reality should also be available. The most important point is that Sutingyu can take out the game items in the inventory in reality. Fat man, you should go back to Kikai's place first. Okay, boss. The fat man nodded and left with Wei Chu. Sutingyu returned to his room filled with express items. After sending away the servant who was carrying the courier, Sutingyu locked the door and immediately took out the storage ring from the inventory. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Being a Bug in a Survival Game. Author, Kuan-Ke. Chapter 604. Sutingyu took a deep breath. The time has come to witness the miracle. As soon as he finished speaking, Sutingyu put on the storage ring and placed it on the surface of the items piled up in the room. Whoosh! Sutingyu only felt his eyes flicker, and suddenly, some items in the room disappeared. Sutingyu hurriedly checked the storage ring, and the next second she almost jumped with excitement. Ouch! Are you really taking it in? 2 seconds later, Sutingyu suppressed her excitement and put the storage ring into the inventory. During this period, she kept secretly checking for any warning that would pop up. But when the storage ring lay quietly in the inventory, the panel system did not respond at all. Everything is normal. Nice. Sutingyu immediately let go of his hands and feet, took out the storage ring again, and put in all the remaining items. Just when Sutingyu was very excited, the panel suddenly popped up, startling her. "Dear Angel Su player, hello. Sorry, your 12 Zodiac tokens are no longer usable due to some special factors and are now being forcibly recycled. However, adhering to the principle of player rights first, we will randomly distribute other tokens of the same number as a compensate. This compensation will be sent to your inventory within 24 hours of real time. Please check it carefully. Thank you for your understanding." Sutingyu, What Zodiac token? Does she have it? Is it hers? Why doesn't she remember? Wait a minute. Sutingyu remembered. It seems to be the 3 tokens exchanged with Chibubi after the Children's Day dungeon ended. There was nothing she could do about it. She had forgotten the trouble of having too many tokens. So, the current situation is that the 12 Zodiac tokens have been recycled by the system? Then you can exchange other tokens with me. In one sentence, Sutingyu summed up the current situation. Sutingyu switched the interface and went to check her inventory. Sure enough, Sutingyu saw that the 12 Zodiac Signs 3 tokens were gone, replaced by a new token of Nightmare God Invitation 3. Chibubi exchanged the 12 Zodiac Signs with me, so were their tokens also exchanged? Also, why were the tokens exchanged? There were big question marks in Sutingyu's small head, and she really didn't understand this wave of operations of the system. So Sutingyu decided to go find Kikai. When in doubt, go to Kikai. That's right. Sutingyu came back and informed Qin-Chi of the system's operation. "Kikai, what's going on with me?" Qin-Chi was the only one in the room. Wei-Chu was in charge of the day shift, and Fatty had just gone out when he saw that there was no hot water or fruit in the room. "You have 3 identical tokens, are they all held by you?" "Put them all in the inventory," Qin-Chi asked. Sutingyu nodded, "Yes, what's the problem?" At that time, Sutingyu had a lot of tokens on hand, so he gave 2 tokens to Qin-Chi and Fatty. Even if they want to continue to separate, they may not accept it at that time. "That's it? Your previous token should have been from a career dungeon that was opened recently. Because you own 3 of them, they were not matched by the system. It may be that the upper limit for acquiring professions in that dungeon has been reached, so the dungeon will be destroyed, and the remaining tokens will have no effect." After listening to this, Sutingyu felt heartbroken. It turns out that she unknowingly missed a round of career dungeon? Missed out on a Buling career? Then Chi, let's quickly divide the 3 new tokens I got with that. Sutingyu sent one of the tokens to Qin-Chi. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuan-K. Chapter 605. Why was it so noisy downstairs just now? Gucci walked out of the study, Chibubi followed behind him. Chibubi replied, "Sir, it should be the express delivery that Miss Su purchased. She might have been unpacking and moving the express delivery just now." "What did she buy?" Gucci asked. "They are all very common daily necessities, but there are a lot of types and quantities. If she uses them alone, it may take several months to use them up." Chibubi recalled the reports of his subordinates, and then his voice spoke smoothly. At this time, Chibubi's panel automatically popped up. After Chibubi read the above information, he turned to Gucci and said, "Sir, 4 of the token props in Seeing's reserve have been replaced by new tokens by the system. Then distribute them quickly." Seeing had encountered the situation of changing tokens several times, so he was not unfamiliar with it. "We even figured out some rules. Generally, most of the token props redistributed by the system are the same tokens, which will trigger a new career copy in a short period of time. As usual, Chibubi left one for Gucci first. Gucci opened the panel and clicked on Receive. Before closing the panel, Gucci glanced at the general information of the token. Nightmare God Invitation. The other side. In Qin Chi's room. Before Qin Chi could speak, Sutingyu blocked what the former wanted to say. Continue to owe me. I will write it down in my notebook. Qin Chi, okay. Qin Chi nodded and accepted. In fact, for a moment, Qin Chi wanted to ask Sutingyu, what if he couldn't afford it in the future? But it felt a little weird, as if it was a prelude to him defaulting on his debt. By the way, send one to the fat man as well. Sutingyu sent it to Qin Chi first, then remembered the fat man who was leaving, so he sent another Nightmare God invitation. However, the fat man may not have been checking the panel, and the status of the other party has not received is still displayed. However, these are small things. Just wait until Fatty comes back later and tell him again. Sutingyu thought so in her heart. Sudden. Please note. The number of players carrying the Nightmare God invitation has reached the standard to open the Nightmare Labyrinth instance. Dear Angel Su players, hello, you have received an invitation letter from the Nightmare Labyrinth dungeon, which has been triggered. You will go to the dungeon within 2 minutes, please be prepared. Finally, Parallel Paradise wishes you a happy journey. Sutingyu, What's the situation? Oh, the token copy is triggered. Wrong. So sudden? Sutingyu looked at Qin Chi blankly, and then she saw that the latter's panel also jumped out. Kikai. Well, the professional copy is here, Qin Chi responded. This is too sudden. Sutingyu thought of the many supplies she had stuffed into the storage ring before, but she didn't feel too nervous at all. After all, she is also a player who has experienced a professional copy. It seems that Fatty can't enter this career dungeon. He hasn't received the token from me yet. Sutingyu checked the chat history. Let me leave a message for Fatty. 2 minutes later. Dear Angel Su players, hello, you have confirmed that you have entered the Nightmare Maze dungeon world, and you are being matched. The matching is completed, and the countdown to enter the dungeon begins. 3, 2, 1. Dear player Qin Chi, hello, you have confirmed that you have entered the Nightmare Maze dungeon world, and you are being matched. The matching is completed, and the countdown to enter the dungeon begins. 3, 2, 1.